Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang mag-iliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng mag-ibig, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit bumaba, may lagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isak ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nabibili. Ang bituin na araw na kailan pa may magdidilig. Lupa ng araw ng wala ipagsinta, buhay na higit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na pagbay mga api, ang mamatay ng nais sa'yo.
Lord, let me be what you want me to be. Let me see all the gifts that you so lovingly blessed me with. Be with me when I'm alone and when it seems that nothing just works out for me. When I'm down, when I'm lost, give me strength, give me hope.
Makagagahom daw mahigugmaon, ugis ha magbabaya, iyan napunan ho anan. Iman haanlaw, ag umawon day imo ho kinasing-kasing, taigpauma day imo sa pagpasalamat day hulangon ha panginahanglanon. Igpauma day daan imo sa agpanayon day, sa maayad ha kaginhawa, maayad ha kaglawa, maayad ha kagtima. Yan day daan agpanayon ha ipadiyo kay hu mga madaot, kahanlok daw kaguon, ikahid o kaikaw. Dagidagi sa pagtuo, daw pagsalig day hu mga kamatuuran no. Hasikaw gayud permanente taghari, taliwada o pagtalig-uma daw pagkuyanap, kusunod-sunod daw nagkalain-lain hamatang o panghitabo, kagubot, kalisdanan, daw padaot. Ipaaha, ipagudam, daw ipaambit ho mga utawno doon ho banwa, nasod, daw tibuok kalibutan, sa gagaw, kahid-o, kalinaw, daw kaliguno. Taiyan man, timaan ng mga kahangin na pasensya.
Lord, I offer my life to you. You can do what you want to do. Just come and fill my life, fill my darkness with your light.
وقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God our Father, we come to you in our need to ask your protection against the COVID-19 that has disturbed and even claimed lives. Give us the grace in this trying time to work for the good of all and to help those in need. We implore you to stop the spread of this virus and to save us from all our fears. We pray that you guide the people, especially those tasked to find a cure for this disease, and for us who are entrusted to take care of our children in the schools and the classrooms. Though they cannot be allowed to go to the schools, we ask your protection and guidance, that we will still be able to deliver the learning that they need to have amidst this pandemic, believing that no one should be left behind in this our spiritual journey, for the good of our children and for the good of the country and for all the people in the world. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Lord, I know now what I want to do. I have found my strength when I came to you. You have sent me to help with my brothers and make them happy as you made me too. Lord, I know now what I want to do. I have found my strength when I came to you. You have sent me to help with my brothers and fill the darkness with your light. You have sent me to help with my brothers and fill the darkness with your light.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Maayong buntag sa tanan. So kamusta naman po tayong lahat? I hope that everyone is safe and in good health today. My name is Isabel Alano and I will be your host again for today's session. And I hope that you are all excited and looking forward for this activity. So welcome back to our learning series for this month, KaaGABAY, learning series on materials development. We are now live on DepEd Tayo, Cagayan de Oro City Facebook page. Today is a very special day because we are starting early at 8 a.m. for this second session. So thank you so much for spending your morning with us despite your busy schedules. And for those who can tune in with us in real time, rest assured that you can view this later here in our Facebook page. And even for those who would want to view the session again, you can check it out here. So first and foremost, I would like to give my deepest respects to our school's division superintendent, Dr. Cherry May Limbaca Reyes, our CID chief, Dr. Loribina Carrasco, SGOD chief, Dr. Rosalio Vitorillo, to the public schools district supervisors, education program supervisors, to our school heads, teachers, to the entire DepEd CDO division, and to everyone who is tuning in with us right now. Hello again and good morning to all of you. As mentioned previously, our activity is titled KaaGABAY. This is a series of learning sessions that started last Friday, March 11, until April 8, 2022. We are now on our second week. Each session will be focusing on different topics on developing learning materials. We hope that this platform will not only give you additional knowledge and support, but also provide you a space for you to share your own best practices. So if you have anything you'd like to share, feel free to comment it down below in the comment box or input it in the evaluation form later. Before we continue, I am requesting everyone to like and share this live stream to our teachers so that we will be able to get new and additional knowledge for today. And also keep your comments coming as well. And later on, you could also ask questions that you may have for our speaker during the session. Okay, so before diving into our new topic for today, let us look back to our previous session last week with our speaker, Dr. May P. Edulantes, the Education Program Supervisor of the LRMDS in DepEd Schools Division Office of Ozamis City. In her session, we were able to know the difference of contextualization, indigenization, and localization. The umbrella term is contextualization, and under it is indigenization and localization. We also learned the importance of making our learning materials meaningful, relevant, and useful to our learners because when we localize our materials, we help our learners become more engaged as the instruction makes more sense and has more meaning to them. She also gave us a lot of examples that we can follow and use when we contextualize our own learning materials. For those who missed that session, don't worry, you could look back and watch it here in our Facebook page. And I highly recommend for you to watch it later because the session was truly informative and will definitely guide you once you start to create your own contextualized materials. Okay, as we start with our session in just a few minutes, a reminder to everyone that if you have any questions for our speaker, don't be shy and comment it down below. Let's use this time to air out any question or concerns we may have after his talk. So don't forget also to like and share this live stream. Now, for the second learning session, our topic will be on the utilization of tools in developing materials. Of course, when we create our learning materials, we also use different tools. And this morning, our speaker will be helping us familiarize ourselves on what we can use and what will be most helpful to us. Without further ado, I am very honored and excited to introduce to you our speaker this morning. Our speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He acquired his Master of Arts in History from the Ateneo de Manila University. He is taking up his postgraduate studies at the University of the Philippines, Diliman under the Tri-College Philippine Studies Doctorate Program. Currently, he is a full-time faculty at Xavier School and a part-time lecturer at the Ateneo de Manila University. He is also a Google Certified Educator Level 2 and belongs to the Google for Education Certified Innovators via 20 cohort, of which only 75 were accepted, with only 2 coming from the Philippines. He is also a Google for Education Certified Trainer and Google for Education Certified Coach. He is the founder of KaaGABAY Teacher Support, which provides different forms of assistance to teachers all over the country. His works in the education sector became the basis for his nomination as a TOYM 2021 under Education. Everyone, help me welcome Sir Franco Nicolo Adon. Let's give him a resounding round of virtual applause. You could also press the heart or like button as we welcome him on screen. So, hi, Sir Franco. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome.
Magandang umaga, Miss Isabel, and welcome to our teachers. Good morning, teachers. No, and thank you for joining us this very early session for today. Okay, so I think we can now I can begin, no, Miss Isabel, with my presentation. Okay, but again, teachers, before we start, I'd like to give you first some context. No, I know that the sessions planned by our organizers is actually at 10 a.m. Okay, actually 10:30 a.m. No, so that it's not too early. Just like this one, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. But it's actually because of my schedule. Okay, so thank you again to the organizers for being flexible and still allowing me to share whatever I can share for today regarding our topic for today. Okay, so I'll just wait for my presentation to be streamed. Okay, thank you, maraming salamat, Miss Isabel. Okay, so couple of things before tayo mag-start, okay, teachers. Okay, is that I know that the topic is about utilizing tools in developing materials. Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today as well. Okay, but I inserted two keywords in our topic for today, which is digital and designing. Okay, so these two keywords no are both will put things into context, no, into perspective, as well as it will also create some disclaimers no, on what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so number one is that the word digital here, no, in my topic, no, utilizing digital tools, okay, is something that that will or I don't know direct our orientation and our direction in this discussion towards digital tools. Okay, so we're going to explore digital tools in the production of instructional materials. Okay, and in that case, no, we'll be talking about digitized and digitalized materials. Okay, I know that we are still printing no, materials, for example, modules okay, or printed materials. No, that's something that might not be as covered for today, okay, because we'll be more looking into the digitized and digitalized instructional materials that we have, okay. And of course, we're going to still contextualize that, no, and justify why do we still need digitalized no, and digitized instructional materials if we're shifting back to face-to-face instruction, okay. And of course, no, the second keyword in our topic for today no, would be designing. Okay? Because while developing no, is equally a powerful tool, in the 21st century context, no, the word designing covers more grounds okay, and it actually deepens our understanding on how and what and no, no, the role of the teacher or the educator in creating that instructional material. So these two keywords no, should be, I don't know, in a way defined no, or should have defined our topic for today. And again, just what Miss Isa have said, no, I would like to introduce myself once again, no, formally to all of you, no, to all the teachers who are watching right now, and of course to those who will be watching this a little later on, because I know that it's not really a good time no, to have a webinar at this early in the morning. Anyway, so I'm Franco Nicolo P. Adun, a faculty of Xavier School, a lecturer at the Ateneo de Manila University, the founder of KaaGABAY Teacher Support. No, I don't know if some of you here are already members okay, of our community, but if you are, okay, maraming salamat. For those who have not yet encountered our community, you may search us in Facebook. Na that's KaaGABAY Teacher Support. We provide free trainings for teachers okay, weekly for almost 2 years now. Okay, and of course, I'm a Google for Education certified trainer, innovator, and coach, and that will also define our discussion for today because most of the tools I'm going to cover for today no, and strategies I'm going to cover for today will be from the Google Workspace for education. Because again, no, meron naman tayong full access ng ating Google Workspace from our DepEd accounts no, or DepEd email accounts natin. Okay. So that's me. Okay. And of course, no, I hope to meet all of you soon. Okay, also, okay, face to face. Actually, when Miss Isabel sent this invitation to me, no, medyo ready na ako sana mag-book ng flight going to CDO because I want to really visit no CDO. But of course, maybe that's reserved for next time. Okay. So for today, no, there are three key things na pag-uusapan natin. The first one is, we'll first look into education in context, no? In the 21st century, it's always important, no? When thinking about instructional materials, when thinking about designing instructional materials, that we always think of the context of the educational landscape. Where are we at right now, and what are the demands, no? Because it can't be just always, no, like developing or creating instructional materials without knowing the context of where the materials are going to be used, who's going to use it, and in what context it will be used. No? Napakahalaga ng educational context. Lalo na ngayon, no? Okay? Dahil meron tayong constant shifts in education. Okay? Pagdating sa, for example, pre-pandemic, no? During pandemic, ngayon, post-pandemic shift in education, magbabago na naman tayo. Okay? So, how are we able to adapt to that, no? To that changes in education. Okay? And of course, pag-uusapan natin very briefly din, no, yung response to the 21st century learners and 21st century shifts in education. Anong ginagawa natin, no? Or what are we doing in order to mitigate these shifts in education? Okay? And in order to still allow us, no, to deliver a quality kind of education despite the so many disruptions in education. Okay? And of course, we're going to deep dive, no, and go into our digital tools for designing instructional materials. Okay? I will not be able to cover many, okay, but I'll try to cover some of the tools that are powerful enough, no, to drive change or to create meaningful instructional materials, okay, for our students. Okay? So I hope that we are all okay with that, no, and we are all on the same page. Okay? Um, in this discussion. Okay, please do let me know sa ating chat, no. Naka-monitor din ako sa ating chat box right now. Although medyo konti lang tayo ngayon, ano, na naka-live ngayon, pero still I would encourage, no, everyone, okay, who are here, okay, to please do share your insights, no. Ask questions, okay. If you have questions, I'll try to answer that as soon as I can. Okay. So just let me know, okay? And of course, no, Miss Isa naman will be there. No, Miss Isabel will be there, no, to let me know of your questions, okay? Anytime, no, there are questions or insights in the chat. Okay, so let's make this a collaborative discussion, okay? Although much of the part, no, will be taken care of me, pero gusto ko pa din sana na magbahagi ng tayo, or let's share our thoughts, insights, and ideas all throughout our session. Okay? So can you all give me, teachers, no, a simple like a heart react or a thumbs up, okay? If that's okay, and we can do that, no, okay? So let me know in the chat, no. Abangan ko rin po yan later on. Okay. So teachers, puntahan muna natin yung education in context, no, which is always a very important, no. I always, whenever I discuss topics, whenever I discuss um, for example, no, using tools, okay, or technology integration, I always start with education in context. Bakit? Kasi na para sa akin, no, it's always important to take things into context because things are not always the same thing, no, everywhere. Okay, so for example, your context in Cagayan de Oro City is different from our context here in Manila. Okay, more so, no, ang context ng ibang bansa pagdating sa education ay iba din, no, or it's a really different thing when it comes to our context here in the Philippines. So context will always play an important role, okay? Whether our education, okay, to be specific, our instructional materials will be effective to drive the teaching and learning process for our students. And that's why mahalaga to, okay? So let's begin with it. No? Some of these are definitely some cliches, no? Some repetitions, some reviews, and some of the things you have encountered already in so many sessions that you have attended for the last 2 years in the pandemic. No, alam ko, master of webinars na tayo no, pagdating sa during the pandemic. No, sa sobrang dami nating mga webinars, training and workshops na pinuntahan and attended, no, during the pandemic. No? Pero course, still a very important reminder for all of us. Okay, and the first one is that, okay, we have to understand that we are in a digital world. Okay, that's the reason why I'm insisting, no, on the use of digital tools in the creation or designing of instructional materials. Okay, hindi na to pwedeng. This is not something that we can deny or delay further. Okay, because I think, no, in the pandemic, no, we have been further made realize, no, how important that our education or the education sector, okay, would fit into the digital world or of the 21st century learning. Okay, so everything now is happening in the digital space. No, you have your news, you have your social media interactions, okay, even access to information are now fully digitized. No, sabi nga nila, no, okay, whenever they're looking for an information, i-Google mo, okay. So ang daling mahanap, no, or ang daling makita sa Google ng mga answers natin. Okay, that's a testament on how we have shifted or transitioned, okay, to a digital space. So it's a very, very important shift, no, and a very, very important context of where our education lies today. Okay, and of course, given that, no, given this digital world of the 21st century, no, three things have been totally changed, okay? Which also drives how education should be implemented or should be carried out. Okay? The first one is, of course, yung tinatawag nating access to information. Okay? That's a game changer, teachers, no? Okay? Pagdating sa digital world or 21st century learning, no? Access to information. Ibig sabihin, students, no? Teachers, no? And whoever, okay? All our stakeholders in education have now an equal access to information. It's not like before that information could only be delivered by the teacher or by the expert, okay? Right now, everyone could be an expert on different fields or different disciplines or different sets of knowledge. Okay? So educators now, okay, have when we develop instructional materials, no, we also have to think about that. Okay. It can't be just, for example, that our instructional materials are just like giving information, no, or like printing information or sending information. Okay, because for all we know, no, this information could easily be accessed by our students, okay, in other websites, okay, or they can even access more information about this, okay. So when we think about our instructional materials, okay, we are now shifting away on content-heavy instructional materials. Okay? So it's not supposed to be that way anymore because we can easily say or we can easily give a website and they can easily access those information right away without even just like putting the information in a document or in a presentation or wherever. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, so a game changer indeed when it comes to instructional materials. Second is yung tinatawag nating Internet of Things. When we say Internet of Things, this is the connectedness, no, ng mga bagay-bagay sa loob ng digital space because digital space is just a complex, no, network of things. Okay, so it means that things are no longer like isolated from one thing to another. Okay, that there is a connection between people. There's a connection between events. There's a connection between information. There's a connection between what how this or on how these things are being done and how it's going to impact others or impact other situations. Okay, so that's what's happening now, no. And in this Internet of Things, teachers, no, ibig sabihin lang nito is that everything could easily also be accessed via the internet. Okay, I need a video about this lesson that could be found in the internet. I need the information about this lesson that could be found in the internet. I need to contact someone. You can access that or you can contact that via the internet. Okay, so this internet like actually shortened the gap, no, between people and actually allowed more interaction, more complex collaborations between individuals, and that's what change as well in the 21st century. And of course, yung tinatawag nating technology assisted processes. Okay, while technology is not should not be the priority, no, okay, we can't also deny that more and more processes in our society today are being driven by technology. Okay, and as a sector, no, as as a sector of society that actually prepares the citizens for the next 10 years or 20 years, okay, it is our responsibility as educators to also take note of that, okay, that our students, okay, will soon live in a context where technology is such prevalent, okay, and if we do not prepare them in that kind of skills and use of technology, no, they will be like behind or lag behind, no, when they started to be employed or when they started working after school. Okay, so ano rin natin yan, reality rin natin yan. Okay, that there more and more processes are being technology driven. Okay, so these are the big impact of the digital world. Okay, and of course, okay, in that sense, teachers, no, is that we also have to think about the 21st century workplace. So when we think about all of these instructional materials, our education, no, in general, in a macro scale, is that we're thinking, where will my students be working? Okay, so when you're also doing your instructional materials, no, you're also constantly and consciously integrating this aspect of 21st century workplace in preparation, no, or preparing our students to work in that 21st century workplace such as this, no, mga open spaces. Okay, wala na masyadong mga karels, no, or mga divisions. Okay, so these are now what our students will be working in the 21st century. Okay, and we just have to realize, teachers, no, is that the 21st century context had become too complex. Okay? So shout out po sa mga batang 90s diyan, no, katulad ko po, no. Na nabuhay tayo sa napakasimple lang, no, napakasimple, very ano, no, very simple ways of life na of course yung mga ginagawa natin before, no, yung games natin, yung technology natin, okay? But now the world has become too complex, okay? So when we prepare our students, no, when we think about our instructions for our students, okay, we have to think or realize that our students are in need to digest, no, and in need to process a very high amount of information, okay? So and as mentioned here, no, no single person, no matter how brilliant, is going to be able to store a significant fraction of information, okay, available in knowledge in their heads, no, even in one field of study. So our priority should not be like route memorization or remembering information. Kaya nga, di ba, nasa lowest tiers yan ng Bloom's taxonomy natin kasi hindi yan yung priority talaga natin. Okay? Since the world is becoming more complex, na dapat mas pumapasok tayo sa complex sa idea ng prioritizing the skills of our students to be able to process this exponentially growing amount of information. Okay? So yan yung ating reality natin, no, for our students. Okay? So now, how did the shifts change the educational landscape? Ano nangyari? Okay? So, what happened and how did it drive, no, change in our educational landscape? So, couple of things, no. Of course, nagbago yung curriculum focus natin. Okay? So, if you're still not familiar with this, this is the 21st century curriculum, okay? The P21, no? Okay? So now you no longer just have, no, yung mga core skills natin kasi before, 'di ba? Parang ang focus lang natin math, science, English or other subjects and content heavy tayo, okay? Pero ngayon, we realize that in the 21st century, it's not just about that, okay? It's about also life and career skills. It's also about information, media, and technology skills. It's also about learning and innovation skills, no, or the 4 Cs, yung tinatawag nating critical thinking, communication, and creativity, no? So yung mga key skills na yan are no longer just an accident, no, or an option for us, okay? But rather it has become, no, a requirement for us to consider when we are developing, no, our instruction, okay, delivering instruction to our students, okay? So yung instructional materials ba natin promotes or promote collaboration? Does it promote communication? Does it promote critical thinking? Does it promote creativity? So that's going to be our considerations, no, when we design our instructional materials. Okay, so I know it's overwhelming. There's so many things that you have to consider. Okay, but just to narrow it down, no, this could be your 4 key skills. Okay, I always mostly focus as well as on this one whenever I'm thinking about my instructional materials. No, what am I focusing on? Am I focusing on here collaboration or communication or critical thinking or creativity, or am I targeting 1 or 2 or 3 of this in a particular instructional material? Okay, so that's how we do it. No, of course, just to minimize the overwhelming feeling of all of these considerations. Okay, and again, more and more that we have to realize that it's going to be that complex, teachers, no? Ang dami nating mas dapat isipin, okay? Ang dami nating dapat mas consider, no, as we develop our instructional materials, okay? So it's no longer just about instructional materials that prepares them for a test, okay? Because that's going to hurt, no, the overall growth of our students, okay? Our instructional materials should be more complex, no, and our actually, no, contains that complexity to deliver, okay, this very complex context of the 21st century for our students. Okay, that much we owe to our students. Okay, and of course, no, even more so, no, yung if we try to expand that, no, yung meron tayong mga foundational knowledge, okay, humanistic knowledge, and even the meta knowledge, okay. Well, foundational knowledge, alam natin yan, no, yan yung content ng mga subject areas natin, okay. And kanina dun sa P21 framework natin, no, meron tayong humanistic knowledge, and you even also have to think, no, yung tinatawag nating meta knowledge, okay. So these are knowledges, no, or knowledge, okay, that allows them to deal with a more complex real life situation. Okay? Kasi sa totoo lang, no, if you think about it, if you're thinking about, if you're teaching your subject areas, okay, you have to ask yourselves how much of this can actually be applied in the real life situation. Okay? And that's where it I don't know where it comes in that maybe again no not maybe no, but it should not be the content that we should be focusing on, but rather came using the content to deliver and to train them no on this higher order thinking skills or more complex skills such as creativity, innovation, problem solving. No, we need more problem solvers in our society, lalo na kung magiging mga politicians yan, no? Okay? So we have to make sure that they are able to innovate no and solve problems. Okay? And of course, communicate and collaborate. No, ako I'm a very um I'm a proponent, not proponent, but someone that really promotes the idea of collaboration because napaka-importante niyan, napakahalaga niyan, no? Lalo na pagdating sa education, okay? Because our students, okay, when they get out of school, okay, they will have to work with someone else, okay? That's inevitable. That's unavoidable no aspect of the 21st century workplace. Okay, so now we have our context. No? We know where our students are coming from. Okay? And from here, teachers, no, okay, papasok pa yung concept ng digital natives natin. Okay? So we also have to to deal with them. Okay? Our students are digital natives. Okay? They are born in the age of the internet. Okay? While we are, no, tayo mostly siguro yung mga seniors natin at saka siguro yung mga mid uh, ano natin no in terms of like service in education, tayo yung mga tinatawag na digital immigrants. Okay? Yung mga estudyante natin are digital natives, or maybe some of the young teachers, like for example na Miss Isabel Alano is definitely also a digital native, no, kasi bata pa. Okay? Pero teachers, no, okay, we have to understand that while the students, no, our students now are digital natives, okay, it does not necessarily mean, no, that they are fully equipped to use technology to their advantage, okay. Pero if you think about it, no, itong mga digital natives natin are mostly they were born no in or after 1997. Okay, so kung hindi tayo pinanganak ng 1987 and up, no, we are the generation before that. No, we are the digital immigrants. Okay, and of course they are engaged in the digital space. Kaya nga it's what we call the meeting where they are. Okay, so since our students are in the digital space, we have to meet them there, no, and use digital tools, digitize and digitalize instructional materials to be able to meet our students where they are. And of course, very immersed sila pagdating sa social media. Okay, kaya nga minsan 'di ba parang reklamo natin is that hindi nakapag-submit ng module pero nakapag-post sa Facebook kasi talagang yun ang kanilang life talaga nila yun. No? It defines no who they are as a person. No? Yung engagement nila with social media is a very very crucial and vital part of their existence, no, and of course as a person. Okay, so ano rin natin yan, you have to consider that as well. Okay, and but as I've said, no, being a digital native does not mean being adept with technology. So bilang isang guro teachers, no, as teachers and educators, okay, we also have to make sure that we first equip them, no, with the right skills, okay, to be able to use this technology, no, to their advantage, to be able to learn, okay, because yes, they may be able to know the technology for like posting, for creating things, no, pero these are not necessarily always ways to learn things, okay. So that's where teachers would come in. Okay? Kaya nga, pagdating sa 21st century role ng teachers, hindi lang tayo performers eh. Nag-transition na tayo into what we call facilitators tayo. Okay? We facilitate learning. Okay? Especially with the use of technology because we know our students are not always necessarily, they may know how to use technology, but can they actually maximize it for education? Not necessarily. Okay? And that's where we come in as experts in the field. Okay? So our goal, teachers, is to transform our digital natives no into digital citizens. So dapat yung ating mga natin no, yung mga at students natin ma-transform sila into responsible users of the digital space, no. Kaya kailangan nila maging digital citizens, and that's why very important no sa curriculum natin yung digital citizenship. I hope that you all have that, no. And if you you don't still don't have that, no, something to think about and something to develop. Okay? Now, in this context, teachers, no, of the 21st century, papasok na ngayon yung idea ng individualized and personalized learning. Okay? So, that's one thing that we have to consider. That because of this complexity, because of this of changes in the educational landscape and the complexity of our learners ko, so dapat ang ating education is more individualized and personalized. And pero Mr. Dude or Sir Franco, paano natin ito gagawin when I have like 50 or 60 students in my class? Okay? How do we promote individualized and personalized learning in that kind of teacher to student ratio? That's where, of course, no, in a face-to-face setup, okay, in a traditional setup, no, it's going to be very hard to do that, okay. But that's where digital tools could come in, okay. Digital tools could mitigate, no, that need that need for individualized and personalized learning, okay. While not being hampered by the teacher-student ratio. So kahit marami kang estudyante, kahit 50 or 60 students pa yan, kaya mo mag-deliver ng individualized and personalized learning dahil gumamit ka ng digital tools. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what we're going to cover later no sa ating third unit for this discussion. Pero puntahan muna natin yung tinatawag nating responses. Pero just a question no before we proceed to that, okay? So how are we then to respond to this new context and thinking process? Okay, so things have changed, okay? Our context have changed, okay? The demands of the 21st century workplace change. Our learners have changed, no? Our learners are definitely the different kinds of learners the way we were taught. Okay? I salute my teachers, no? I love how they taught me when I was young, okay? Because that's my context, okay? And I learned best, no, during that context. Pero ngayon, iba na rin yung learners natin. So how are we going to respond to that? And that's where we talk about response, no, to 21st century shifts in education. I'll just mention some of them. Of course, napakadami na nito, no? Okay? Ang dami ng strategies, ang dami ng ginamit ng mga approaches, no, frameworks that were introduced in the 21st century just to address this ever dynamic, ever changing context of the 21st century learning. Okay? So, unang-una natin, of course, na approach that is that for us to be able to deliver individualized and personalized learning is to do differentiated learning. Okay? And we know naman what differentiated learning is all about. No? It's about taking into consideration the differences of the learning styles of our students. Okay? Yes, some people might say it's a myth, but the truth is that it actually exists. No? Our students can process information differently from their peers. No? Magkakaiba yan. Okay? The way our brains are wired, no, are not the same. No, we are not robots na pare-pareho tayo ng way of processing of information. Definitely, students are processing, engaging with your subject area differently. Kasi kung meron kang 50 students dyan, malamang meron kang 50 ways of engagement ng mga estudyante mo. And that's what we have to also take note, no, when we are developing instructional engineers. How do you manage, no, or develop instructional materials that are able to address differences in learning styles? Okay, so let's now talk about that, no. So just a very quick context on this one. So there's a study has shown that matching instructional mode to students supposedly identified learning style does not produce better learning outcomes. Okay, so yun isa sa mga myths na kailangan nating i-bust, no. Hindi talaga siya about increasing learning outcomes. Okay, in fact, no, according to them, a student's learning style may not even predict the way they prefer to be taught or the way they actually choose to study on their own. So hindi talaga siya. That's one of the myths of differentiated learning. It's not about to increase learning outcomes or better learning outcomes. Okay, you are doing differentiated learning so that you can make, no, your students more comfortable, okay, in the learning process. Okay, that's so that you can make your students more engaged in the learning process. So once they become engaged in your learning process, that's where learning outcomes becomes better. That's where your instructional materials becomes more effective. Okay? So that's where we're coming in. Okay, that's where differentiated learning is being used. Okay, not because you want like to increase their grades or their scores. There's really no direct correlation to that. Okay, so what we're trying to do is to increase engagement, because if there's an increased engagement, we can increase possibilities of learning, retention, acquisition of skills, etc. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, there are a couple of things, no, pero just a precaution to everyone. Okay, wag nating ipipigeonhole yung ating mga estudyante. Okay. You're a visual learner. Okay, visual learner ka lang. You're an auditory learner. Auditory learner ka lang. You're a kinesthetic learner. Kinesthetic learner ka lang. Let's not do that. Okay, that's not how you do it. Okay. Pigeonholing your students, no, to particular learning style actually limits their learning, their capability for learning. Our students could actually learn in different learning styles. Minsan lang, mayroong mas dominant than the others. I'm more, for example, me, no, I learn by auditory learning style, no. I also learn by moving. Okay? I also learn by I don't know, by other learning styles, pero dominant sa akin yung visual learning style ko. Okay? So let's not pigeonhole. That's a danger of differentiated learning. Okay? So how do we make sure that there's a differentiated learning? Number one, your instructional materials no, should be dynamic. Okay? Second, should be varied. Okay? So dapat nag-iiba-iba. We try this strategy, this once. Okay? We try another one, and so on and so forth. Okay? Engaging. We are always thinking about what our students are doing. That's a very crucial question when you're developing an instructional material, so that you know that your students are engaged. Ask yourselves, in this particular part of my instructional materials, what are my students doing? If they're reading, they might not necessarily be engaging. Okay? Are they doing something in this particular part of my instructional materials? Then you might be closer to engaging your students. Okay? So that's the key, key three aspects of differentiated learning. Okay? So some things to consider, no, yung mga learners natin. So meron kang auditory learner, kinesthetic learner, and of course your visual learner. Let's not go into that, no. We already know that. Napag-aralan natin sa college yan or sa mga exams natin. So let's go now to process of differentiation. Okay, because this is one of the things also that I'd like you to implement in your instructional materials. Okay, to consider about differentiated instructional materials. Okay, but of course, Sir Franco, paano naman to, no? Wala na kaming oras, ang dami naming documents, mayroon pa kami mga meetings na kailangan puntahan. How do we like differentiate to all our students, okay? Without taking up so much of time, okay? Let's not forget that it's not about like delivering a differentiated, okay, or like a specialized, customized instruction per student. Okay, that's not how you do differentiated learning. This is how you do differentiated learning. There are three ways to go about it: in your content, in your process, in your output. Okay, so now when we talk about, for example, no content. Okay, we can easily say that content, since it means knowledge, no understanding, and skills that needs students to learn. Okay, students should remain the same for the most part, no? Of course, hindi naman pwedeng magkakaiba sila ng content na pinag-aaralan. No? For example, meron kong 50 students, as magkakaiba sila ng content na pinag-aaralan. Okay? So it's not about what's in it. Okay? When you say about differentiated content, we're talking about how it was delivered, how it can be accessed. Okay? That's how you do differentiated content. Say, for example, you're teaching about you're teaching about water cycle for our science teachers. Kung meron tayong mga science teachers dito. Okay? So, for example, one ways of presenting that content is a video lesson. That's one way of presenting the content. Or instead of a video lesson, I'd like to provide like a handout. Okay, text-based handout. Or it could also be like a website, no, where can they explore what water cycle is. Or it could easily be like a diagram, okay, or a picture. Okay, so in this way, students are able to process, no, and access information in different ways. Okay? And of course, no, kung pwede pa na tayo magbigay ng extra information beyond what we're giving, no, could also be a better one, because that would also increase their access to information about that particular topic. Okay? So you're not changing your topic. You're just changing the way it's being accessed and how much access they can get into that information, especially right now in the digital age. Okay, that's differentiating content. Okay, second, differentiating process. Okay, So it's not about that you are changing teachers no na magbabago-bago tayo every time ng per student, iba-iba yung approach natin. No, okay? Uh, when you think about, when you say differentiated process, you're simply changing things up, no? From time to time. Okay, so when we're delivering, for example, instruction, no, or giving instructional materials, okay, instructional materials creates a dynamic, no, of engagement, no. So sometimes, for example, meron ka instructional materials that will ask them to do an activity. Okay, there will be sometimes instructional materials that would ask them to interview someone, okay, or to work with someone, okay, or there will be sometimes instructional materials that they would be asked to do research on their own, okay. So it's not it's not like one way of like presenting or I don't know presenting things, no, okay, but rather, okay, you're allowing learning to occur in different ways, okay. So ano no in different places, in different activities, no, or in different modalities, okay. So that's how we differentiate process, okay. And of course, pwede ring differentiated output. Ito na ngayon yung if you've heard about, for example, the PBL, okay, or the project based learning, no, okay, isa to sa mga core concepts ng PBL, okay? It promotes that differentiated output, okay? That we are not standardizing how we measure learning, okay? Because again, no, if we believe, no, that students are learning differently, then we also have to believe or to understand that students can express learning differently. And therefore, bakit may isa ka lang exam? Okay? Or bakit meron lang tayo laging standard test? Of course, teachers, no, hindi ko sinasabing mali yung standard test na yun. We can always have those, no? Kasi standardized tests are really good way of assessing, no, quantifiable information about our students. Okay? But if we're talking about mga intangible, qualitative aspect of the learning process, then it can't be measured, no, in those standardized tests. Okay? So we go for differentiated outputs. We allow our students to have more voice and choice in how they can express, no, and how they can show their learning. Okay, that's your ano no, that's for differentiated output. So you can differentiate, for example, like using videos, okay, or when they're writing, no, iba-ibang tools yung ginagamit nila, okay, or even audio, okay, baka mas auditory yung skills nila, okay, etc. Okay, so those can be explored when you are differentiating output, okay. And of course, no, aside from differentiated learning, no, isa pa sa mga ano natin, no, approaches ngayon, no, in the 21st century, when we are developing instructional materials, is yung na-develop ng um, sorry, no, mali pala yung ano yung word dito, no. It's adaptive design for learning, no, ADL, okay? Was that was developed, no, and actually enhanced in a way, no, by Ateneo de Manila University, no. So they during the pandemic they developed this ADL or adaptive design for learning, okay, which basically centers on this diagram, okay? That when we develop instructional materials, okay, there should be 5 key factors on this one, okay? So the first one, sorry, not only instructional materials, no, but when we conduct, no, classes, okay, in the pandemic, no, especially in the pandemic, or even actually post-pandemic, this could still be applied, okay? So you have 5 factors according to ADL, okay? You have the adaptability, okay? So very important, no, when we develop instruction materials, okay, instruction for our students, that these instruction are adaptive enough, no, to accommodate different contexts, okay, of our students, okay. Second, that there is active and interactive learners. So again, lagi mong tinatanong sa instructional material mo, anong ginagawa ni student? What are my students doing in this particular instructional material, okay? And of course, 3Cs, no, you have to balance yung interaction ng 3Cs natin, yung content, okay? So you still have to make sure that the content is very solid, no, okay? It's not much, okay? It should not be the like the only focus, but it should be solid enough, no? Should be the foundation of your subject area, okay? Of course, nandun yung second C natin, yung coach, okay? Yes, coach, not a teacher, not a facilitator, because the coach now is a different role of the educator, okay? Coach because you're now going to guide them, okay? As they go on into their learning materials, okay? And of course, yung tinatawag nating community. You still have to immerse your students, no, into working with others, okay? interacting with other learners in the community. Okay, and of course, according to this, no, sa ADL din, is that if we're doing, for example, still no a hybrid learning, okay, asynchronous and synchronous sessions, okay, that we have to make sure that there should be more asynchronous, okay, than synchronous, okay. Because again, no, we have to allot more time on our students, okay, becoming more independent, okay, processing information on their own, or acquire information on their own, and then processing it during synchronous sessions. And of course, yung modularity. Teachers, let's not forget what we've learned in the pandemic. No? Even if we go to face, no, the idea of modularity is such an important, powerful change in education. We realize that we can chunk learning process no or learning into smaller, more digestible chunks. Hindi natin kailangan, for example, ng lahat ng lessons are in just 1 quarter. We know that 1 quarter could easily be divided into 4 modules, 5 modules, or even 3 modules, which allows our students to have more and easier time to digest our content and our instruction. Okay? And of course, isa sa pinaka ano natin no, pag magde-develop tayo ng instructional materials, dapat ang instructional materials natin from here on are disruption resilient. Anong ibig sabihin ng disruption resilient? Okay? Is that it now it promotes that flexibility that despite what happens no kahit magkaroon pa bigla ng pandemic or lumala ulit yung pandemic no our instructional materials could easily be repackaged into something else no that adapts to that situation. Yan ang tinatawag nating disruption resilient education. Okay? Hindi lang instruction materials, our curriculum as well, the way we approach education should now be disruption resilient para hindi na tayo basta-basta nabibigla. Kahit magkaroon ng typhoon, pandemic, earthquake, or whatever that is, our instruction, education will move forward because it's disruption resilient. Okay? The last one, the last response to shifts in 21st century education, the digital education. Okay? As I mentioned, okay, napakahalaga no, ng paggamit na ngayon ng digital tools because again, first and foremost, no, our students are digital natives. Okay? They would definitely appreciate, connect more if we are using digital tools. Okay? So we have these different reasons no why our students no are more or prefers more no yung digital content or digital education. Okay? And we also have to consider teachers no that when we think about digital education, okay, or digitalization of education, we're thinking about three important aspects, no? Yung people, processes, and tools, okay? So you have to also equip the people, no? Your teachers, your students, to be able to use tools, okay, and technology, okay? And of course, your tools no, could easily change processes. The way you, for example, deliver report cards, okay? The way you send documents to your students, okay? The way you give feedback to your students, okay? So those now can be easily digitalized in our context today, okay? And of course, comes with it, no, the proper appropriate tools to deliver this digitalization in your or digital transformation in education, okay? Let's just skip that one, okay? Same thing lang yan, okay? So teachers, questions, okay? So that's now our context now. That's how we are now responding to 21st century education, and that's where we're coming from. Okay, then tayo manggagaling no as we develop our instructional materials. Okay, we can use these different responses. Okay, as our frameworks. Okay, we always have to be very mindful no of this different contexts or shifts in education. Okay, so that our instructional materials remains effective, appropriate, and efficient no as they deliver the learning process. Okay, so I don't see any questions so far in the chat no. Okay, so Miss Isabel, let's just let me know no if there are questions. Okay, baka lang may namimiss ako sa chat natin. Okay, so again teachers, if there are any questions, concerns, just let me know. Okay, so let's now go through our digital tools for designing instructional materials. I'll just showcase some of them. Do a very quick walkthrough, not in depth, no, because we don't have enough time for that. No. Usually, one digital tool no takes like an entire session to be able to discuss thoroughly and in more in depth, no, just to give you ideas moving forward. Okay, so let's start with creating self-directed and multimodal documents. Okay, I know that we are producing modules, kaya we are printing modules, no, for the most part, okay? Pero ngayon, teachers, no, we also have to realize that documents are no long are very dynamic, given the updates, no, and given the tools that we have, okay? So ngayon, hindi na lang siya simpleng word processing applications, okay? So regardless if you're using Microsoft Word or even Google Docs, no, these are both very efficient tools, okay, in promoting self-directed, no, documents, yung mga documents that are can contain, no, multiple things, not just words, etc. Okay, and that's where, no, we can use, for example, of course, no, I'll showcase Google Docs, okay, as one of the tools that we can use here. Okay, and this one, no, isa sa mga tools or mga updates sa Google Docs na pwede nating tingnan, no, and you can use, no, as educators, okay, would be yung ginagamit yung tinatawag nating smart canvas and smart chips. Okay, yes, okay. Nagdagdag ngayon si Google, no, or has highly improved, no, or improved, no, very much yung ating Google Docs, okay, to contain not just words, no, in Google Docs, no, but rather multiple media, okay, in one document. Can you imagine, like, if you're sending one document to your students, pero nandun na yung video, nandun na yung mga presentations, nandun na rin yung mga resources nila for like links to websites, etc. And everything else they need to know. Okay, so parang that's going to change how you communicate information to your students, and you can easily create worksheets that our students can use, no, or can accomplish on their own. Okay, kasi hindi mo na kailangan magbigay ng extra session or extra materials for them, just to be able to show content, no, for them to be able to do the instruction. Okay, let me show you that one, no. Open lang tayo ng new document, okay? And I'd like to show you, no, this tinatawag dating smart chips, okay, or smart canvas. As you can see here, meron kang makikita kagad when you open Google Docs, you will already see this type add to insert, okay? That's our smart chips activator, okay? So it activates your smart chips, no, or whatever you can insert in Google Docs, no, by using the @ sign, okay? So for example, if I use the @ sign here, you can see here that I can insert names, okay? Kaya lang, siyempre ako, I can easily access naman, or I can easily type naman the email of a person if I want to insert a name, no? But if you, for example, insert this particular contact details, know that this person, okay, can, and you hover your mouse, no, you can already like send an email to that person, send a message, okay, set up a video conference, okay, or schedule an event. Can you just imagine, for example, okay, if you are the teacher, no, let me just insert, for example, myself here, okay. For example, I can say that for concerns, okay, contact me. Okay, so you can like create na a very dynamic contact detail for your students, okay? So hindi sila mag-aalala kung sa kanila hahanapin. Okay, they need a consultation, they can set up a video conference. Okay, they need to ask you a question, they can send an email directly from the document, okay, etc. Okay, or they need like an event with you, they can set up like a calendar invite for you. Okay, things like that. Okay, and of course, ang dami pa niyan. Okay, so when you use again the @ sign, you can also insert yung tinatawag nating files, okay? So for example, dito pwede ka maghanap ng mga files mo, okay? From your Google Drive, okay? You can also type that. For example, I'd like to insert this presentation, okay? Utilizing digital tools. Bayan lang. Tayo ng ibang. For example, ito na lang, no? Isang document na lang. So you can also insert another document, no, into your document. Okay? So you can actually do that, no, mga presentations, okay? Ang key tip ko yan, no, para mas mabilis lumabas yung mga documents na yan, make it a recent document, okay? Para mas madali mo siyang ma-search. But usually, dapat mas madali mo siyang ma-search, no? Okay? Ma-search mo naman siya yung mga documents mo, presentations, okay? PDF, etc. No? Everything that's in your Google Drive, okay, can actually be inserted in your Google document, okay? You can also insert events, no? Pwede ka rin mag-insert ng events dito, okay? And all other things na gusto mo is insert, no, like charts, etc. Yan, pwede ka mag-insert ng dates, okay? And what's good about this, teachers, no, is that kapag nag-i-insert ka ng event dito, okay? For example, nag-insert ka ng particular event dito, okay? That actually adds to the calendar of the person, Okay, so that also links that to their Google Calendar. So very, very self-contained yung document mo. And just imagine, no, isang document lang to, like one-page document, you can already insert a lot of things. Of course, pag gusto nating mag-insert ng mga websites, okay, we can always use the hyperlinking capability of our Google Docs, no? So for example, kung gusto mag-insert ng website, pwede kang mag-type dito. Kunyari, this one is school website. Okay? And you can easily just highlight that. Okay, go to your insert link, and then you can insert the link of the website here, and that becomes a hyperlink. When they click on that one, that brings them to that website. Okay, that's how you create. No, that's how you make use of the smart canvas and smart chips of Google Docs. Okay, so yan. Okay, so that's for yes, no, Teacher Ken. Halos lahat na. Pwede mo nang i-serve, no. So, yes, so pag nag-send tayo ng invitation, dito na lang po, no, nandun na yung events, even the meeting details, no, pwede ka rin mag-insert ng meeting details dito, etc. Okay, so lahat na ng kailangan mo, no, pag nag-send ka ng letter of invites, okay, pwedeng-pwede mo na rin yang gamitin, Teacher Ken, sa mo, para all-in-one na, no, at hindi na nakaka-confuse na nag-send ka ng email, nag-send ka pa ng calendar invite, mag-send ka pa ulit ng email for the meeting link, all-in-one. And plus, what's good about this is that this, for example, if you keep it as a Google Docs, okay, it can be edited anytime. Okay, so nababago mo siya. For example, may nagkamaling details, you can easily change that. That reflects on the document of the recipient as well, or whoever is you're working with in that document. Okay, so hindi mo siya kailangan like yung final yung meme ngayon, yung meme sa internet, final version 1.0, final version 1.0, 2.0, final version na talaga. Here, the final version can always be edited over and over at time without really resending the document to the person. Okay? Okay. Kahit viewer commenter yung access can receive yung calendar invite. Teacher Ken, when you insert a calendar invite or an event into the document, okay, what happens then is that when they click on that calendar invite, it prompts them to add that into their calendar. So they will still have to accept it, okay? And papasok na yun sa calendar nila once they have accepted that calendar invite. Okay? So yan. So that's the beauty, again, of your smart canvas and smart chips of your Google Docs. A lot more things to explore in your Google Docs, teachers. Okay? Okay, second is yung setting up a learning hub. Okay? Ito, I recommend for teachers, okay, that you build your own learning hubs. Okay? Bakit? Para hindi po tayo paulit-ulit na nagki-create, okay? Or nagde-develop ng mga instructional materials natin. Okay? Because 'di ba sometimes nakakapagod kasi yung every year na lang bagong instructional materials, okay, or new sets of instructional materials yung ginagawa natin. While in fact, if your instructional materials are quality enough or have been really well thought of and well designed, that could actually last for years. Investment mo yung teachers. Kaya lang, okay, minsan kapag nag-develop tayo ng instructional materials na mabilis nawawala, nakakalimutan natin where we stored it, where we put it. Pero kapag gumawa ka ng learning hub mo, teachers, two things could happen. First, you get to keep a more organized copy of your learning instructional materials. Nandun na siya sa isang space. Okay? Second, your instructional materials could easily be accessed by your students in one space. Hindi nakakalat. For example, okay, students, access this Google Drive for our worksheets. I send the videos in our email. You may access this video in YouTube. So, ang dami. So, kung saan-saan nakalagay yung ating mga instructional materials. Pero kapag gumawa tayo ng isang learning hub, okay, we can easily put our instructional materials in that. So, kung gusto natin siyang gamitin for this year, pwede mo siya ulit gamitin for next year. Of course, we always have to evaluate, re-evaluate, change things up if it needs to. Pero overall, that should decrease the amount of work you're doing in developing your instructional materials. Okay? So how do we do that? Of course, we have our Google Sites. This is our no coding website building. Okay? Teachers, I have zero knowledge in HTML or coding, but I built my own website via Google site. And it's a perfect way or perfect place for you to develop your instructional materials or store your instructional materials. And teachers, the entire learning hub becomes the learning instructional material on its own. So when you start putting videos there, worksheets there, handouts there, it becomes instruction material on its own. Okay, although in a very very large scale. Okay. So ano yung Google Sites na yan? So if we go to, for example, we go to sites.google.com, okay? That should bring you to this platform. This is a website builder, okay? So you can always start from a blank one, pero look at that, teachers, no? Meron ka ng template for a class website where you can build your learning hub. Okay? When you open that, that already opens to ano na to your class website. You can customize that. No, teachers, don't worry. Okay, you can change the colors, you can change the name, you can even put a logo into it. No, of course, we can discuss entirely. No, pero meron naman kami mga instructional videos on this one. If you want to find out more on using Google Sites. No, pero let me just bring you here. Okay, sa side. Okay, so when you go to the side, teachers, no, you will see here a panel na called insert, okay? That now brings you to this one, okay? There's so many things you can insert. No? You can insert images, you can insert buttons for links, okay? And look at that. You can insert YouTube videos, you can insert a calendar, you can insert a map, Google Documents, Google Slides, okay? Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Charts, no? Everything, no? You can or you need to insert in your website, kayang-kaya mo siyang ilagay dito. Okay? That's how powerful this learning hub could be. Okay? And teachers, pakita ko lang no, kung gaano siya kadali. Okay? For example, gusto ko maglagay ng YouTube video, i-click ko lang yung YouTube dito, and I can now search in YouTube. For example, I'm looking for water cycle lesson. I will insert a water cycle lesson. Okay? Mag-search lang ako. Ayan, meron ako nakita water cycle. Click ko lang yun. Select insert. Ayun na siya. Nasa website ko na siya. Okay? So my students now can access that. If I need, for example, my students to watch like several videos about this lesson, I could easily like link videos after videos here. Okay? You don't even need to create your own videos anymore kasi ang dami na rin itong mga educational videos na pwede nating insert into our website. And of course, isa rin sa mga powerful, gusto mong i-share yung class calendar nyo para hindi nakakamiss ng deadlines yung mga estudyante mo, you can also insert a calendar. Look at that. For example, I click calendar here. I choose the calendar I'd like to share. For example, this one, training resources. Okay, you can now see. Okay, yan. Okay, nakalagay ngayon dyan, training with SDO Cagayan de Oro. Okay? So nakalagay din yan yung mga, kunyari kung mga deadlines yan, etc. You can put all those deadlines in one space. Your students will be fully informed and fully equipped for your classes. Hindi sila magtatanong, teach, nasan po yung ganito, nasan yung ganyan. You can always say, it's in our website. Okay? So just go to our class website. You'll be able to access everything that you need in our class. Okay? So that's the power of class or learning hub teachers using Google Sites. Okay? Let me just also show that you can even insert para dun po sa mga gumagamit ng quizzes, for example, okay? So you can also insert games in your learning hub. So for example, gusto mong gawing interactive or very engaging in yung website, pwede kang gumamit ng, for example, Kahoot, quizzes, or any mga engaging games or platforms or educational games into your website. Say for example, punta ako sa quizzes, okay? Kuha lang tayo ng quizzes ko or okay, let's get one of my quizzes. Okay. Ako. Log in lang ako, teachers, okay? Okay. So for example, meron kang quiz, meron kang isang what you call this? Mga ginawang games sa quizzes, no? Yung mga gumagamit po ng mga quizzes dyan, okay? So, for example, this one, meron akong isang game, no? And I have here, I can start this as asynchronous learning assign homework or pwede ako mag-start ng live quiz, okay? At yan yung isi-share ko sa kanila, okay? So, share tayo ng live quiz natin, okay? Pakita ko lang how it's being inserted, okay? So, ngayon dito, pag nasa quizzes na kayo, teachers, okay? Meron kayong makikita ditong link, okay? If I just get that link of my quizzes, okay? And go to my website, okay? Pupunta ako dun sa embed function ko sa website ko, okay? And I can already insert that URL, okay? And look at that, okay? Your entire quizzes, okay, is now being inserted, no, into your website, okay? So, how fun could that be, no? At gaano kaganda, no? Yung magiging interaction ng mga students mo sa inyong website, sa inyong learning hub, no? Kasi may quizzes ka, pwede ka rin magpa-Kahoot or etc. Sa ano, no, sa website mo. Yan, okay? So teachers, something to explore, okay? Learning hub using Google Sites, okay? Okay, so let's leave at that one, okay? Let's move on to our next one, which is on flipped classroom naman, okay? So teachers dito, madami kang ways to go flip classroom, okay? Basically, when we say flip classroom, it's all about delivering the content, okay, outside of the interaction, okay? So before pa kayo mag-interaction, no, okay, what you're going to do when you're doing flip classroom is you're delivering the content, no, outside of the interaction, okay? So you can send, for example, handouts, you can send materials, okay, etc. No, okay? And what's good about flipped classroom is that it minimizes or it actually optimizes your time for encounters, okay? So the moment that you encounter your students, okay, it's all about deepening, it's all about processing, it's all about managing, no, the learning process. It's no longer about like delivering the concepts or ideas. Of course, you can still do that, no, pero at a very minimal level na, okay? So pwede yung gawin, teachers, no, isa sa pwede nyo explore is yung Google Forms, okay? So baka kasi na-ignore natin yung Google Forms natin, no? Baka kasi yung Google Forms ginagamit lang natin for survey, for quizzes, pero si Google Forms, teachers, can easily be used for flipped classroom, no? Okay? Pwede nyo pong gamitin yan for creating flipped classroom. Say for example dito, hanap lang tayo ng okay, hanapin ko lang yung aking form about flipped classroom, okay? Yan, okay? So for example, meron ako dito isang form, no, Google Form, okay? And dahil sa Google Form natin, pwede tayong mag-insert ng videos, okay? Ng images, okay? You can use that, no, to deliver a flipped classroom. Why not, for example, okay? Maglagay ka ng video, okay? Sa ano mo, sa form mo, okay? So you can put here, for example, meron akong lesson on Philippine history. So I put here a video on the colonization of the Philippines, okay? And then dahil nasa Google Form ako, pwede ko at papanoorin nila, and of course, no, pwede na rin ako maglagay ng mga formative questions or kung gusto mo, dumiretso ka na kagad sa summative assessment mo or quiz, okay? You can do that right off the bat, no, right away from your Google Form. Okay, you can also insert like images, okay, diagrams, no, for those for our science teachers, no, or even our English teachers na kailangan magpakita ng mga diagrams, okay. Pwede nyo rin pong ilagay yan sa loob ng ating Google Forms, okay? And that's a really good way, no, to deliver flip classroom, no, or flip learning for our students. Of course, you can always deliver naman flip learning through various means, no, kahit sa mga LMS natin, okay, or mga learning management systems natin like Google Classroom, Schoology, or other learning management systems that could also be done. Pero this is like a very simple, very direct, no, and yet very powerful way to deliver a flip classroom or flip learning for our students. Okay? Second, fourth way or fourth digital tools na pwede natin gamitin or strategy na pwede natin i-present, no, for our students, okay, is yung paggamit ng interactive presentation. Okay? So, I'll start off with, no, for this one, okay, with Google Slides, okay? And there are three things that I'd like to highlight kay Google Slides, okay? So, unang-una, yung tinatawag nating Q&A function, okay? Baka lang po natin na-explore na meron pong Q&A function si Google Slides, okay? And of course, yung tinatawag nating hyperlinking, okay? And I'll show you later as well no, kung paano ito pwedeng gamitin. Okay? And of course, yung extensions natin that can also increase student engagement. Okay, let's get into that. No, I'll exit my presentation. Okay, para kasi nasa Google Slides na po ako. No, so might as well use this already. Okay, so I'll stop presenting, okay, so you can see my full screen, no, my view, no, as an editor of my Google Slides. So these are Google Slides, teachers, no. This is what I always use in my presentations, okay. So when you do Google Slides, okay, and kunyari tapos ka na, no, okay, when you're ready to present your presentation, okay, notice na of course, no, we can always when you present, just click on slideshow. Pero you actually have here, meron ka dun sa side, no, na drop down button, okay. That actually is a presenter view. Okay? So, kapag nagpe-present na tayo, okay? We can click that, okay? When you click on your, sorry, nagan tayo, no? Okay, exit ko lang teachers ulit. Kasi naka-zoom in po tayo, net makikita, no? Okay? For example, again, balik ako doon, drop down, and then click presenter view, and you will see, you will open a new tab. Okay? So mag-open yan into a new tab, okay? And you will see your presenter view. Andyan yung inyong current slide, previous slide, next slide, etc. Even your speaker notes are here. But what I want you to explore is these audience tools, okay? When you click on that, you will now be able to, you will now be able to start a Q&A function or Q&A activity for your presentation. Okay? So your students can ask questions no anytime to you, okay, during your presentation without like disruptions. Okay? You can even present the questions so you could discuss it with class. Okay? So I'd like you to go to this one. Okay? This is the link, no? So the link is slides, okay, that app, no? Let me just copy the address, okay? I'll send that to Miss Isabel, okay, so that we can access that, okay? So can we try accessing that, no? Yung questions natin, that at slides that app that Google that GL that AG2TQ, okay? So if we can just put that, Miss Isabel, in our chat in Facebook Live, okay? So our teachers could access and we could try, no? Okay, and we can see how it actually happens and how it actually can be used, okay, by our teachers, okay? So, ganyan teachers, no, kapag nag-setup kayo ng Q&A, lalabas dun sa presentation nyo. Don't worry, walang matatakpan, okay? Hindi mako-cover yung presentation nyo, okay? You will see on top, no, of all the slides, of all your slides, no, that link. So, anytime your students have a question, okay, they will be able to access that. And wala pa tayong questions so far. Better let's just wait a couple of minutes, no? Miss Abel, can you also try that, no? Baka lang, para lang ma-access natin, okay? And we can see that if it's working, okay? Yang link na yan, okay? You can say hi, even if it's not a question, okay, or anything, okay? So that we can easily see the, the questions, okay? Or we can demonstrate this one, okay? Ayan, okay yan. Anonymous, hi, good morning. Okay, so lumabas na yung first comment, no? Yan. Hi, good morning, okay? And if it's a question, for example, no, you can easily present that. For example, you click present, and what actually happens is it goes to your presentation. Ayan, si Anonymous, okay? Good morning. If I want to present, for example, Sir Ken Squadra comment, okay? Good morning, Sir Franco. Yan, maraming salamat, Teacher Noribel Baculio. Yan, nakalagay din yung pangalan niya. Okay? So, and you can discuss that, no? So, anytime your students have a question, okay, they can, no, send their questions to you, no, without like disrupting the chat or unmuting, etc. You can engage, no, with your students, okay? Yan, okay? So, thank you so much for those who tried, no, okay? So, that's what we call Q&A function of our Google Slides, okay? I will no longer I'll keep that Q&A para lang mas magamit natin, okay? Now, the next one that I'd like you to explore is yung tinatawag nating hyperlinking, okay? So let me just open a presentation, okay? Here. So hyperlink, sorry, slides ko. Okay. Okay. So hyperlinking is a perfect way of putting more information, okay, or media, no, into your slides, no. Okay. So basically, it works the same way as hyperlinking in Google Docs. Okay. Pero what's good about hyperlinking in Google Slides is that it allows you to hyperlink from one slide to other slides in the in your presentation. Okay, so say for example this one. Okay, so you can, for those who are thinking at nagkakaroon ng problema about using Google Meet at wala kayong breakout rooms, why not set up like breakout rooms in your Google Slides? Okay, so what you only need to do here is to to set up like multiple meetings. Okay, so for example kung 4 groups yan, mag-set up ka lang ng 4 meetings in your Google Meet. Okay, yes, no, you can actually host multiple meetings at the same time. Okay, so para din lang siyang breakout rooms. Okay, and what you can do is to highlight, for example, this word. Okay, this number 1, no, and then go here sa hyperlink natin. Okay, so insert link. Okay, and then insert the meeting link for that meeting. Okay, so for example, the meeting link for group 1, insert mo lang dito. So when they click that, they go to that meeting. Okay? And that goes on for group number 2 and group number 3 and so on and so forth. Okay? So that's perfect way na to navigate, no, and work around breakout rooms, no, para sa mga wala pong breakout rooms. Okay? You can always also create asynchronous tasks. Okay? So pwede ka rin mag-insert dito ng mga tasks mo for your students. Say for example, meron kang like timeline of tasks. Okay? Meron kang task 1, task 2, task 3. And then what you can do is to hyperlink like a document. Okay? Or hyperlink, like for example, a document for that. Okay? And then when students click on it, they go to the task. Okay? Regardless kung yan ay video, pwede mo i-hyperlink yung video dyan, or a worksheet from your Google Drive, or a website, etc., that they have to visit, or a game that they have to play, or even a quizzes, or a Kahoot game, pwede mo rin yang i-hyperlink dito. So, this is what we call a hyper slides. Okay? So what you can do here, teachers, is that you can even send this presentation to your students, okay? And they can play it on their own, okay? But just make sure that whenever you share to your students, naka-view only sila, okay? So don't worry, no, makiklik pa rin nila lahat ng bagay. They can still go to the hyperlinks, okay? They can still navigate into your presentation. Hindi lang nila mai-edit, no? Siyempre, ayaw mong mabago nila yung mga settings mo, okay? So imagine, no, sending that to your students, and your students, no, exploring the different tasks in one slide. That's a powerful instructional material, teachers, no. Very engaging, no, very digital, 21st century, very digital. Okay, and so on. Okay, and of course, no, very varied, no, kasi hindi lang kailangan isang modality lang yung instructional material mo. Could be a video, could be a website, could be a game, etc. Okay. And of course, you can always link resources. Okay? So kung gusto mo maglagay ng mga resources, okay? Video, photos, questions, consultations, and teachers, no, very interesting. Don't forget that kapag nag-hyperlink tayo kapag nag-hyperlink tayo ng email, okay, right there, kunyari naka-hyperlink dito yung email ko, that actually prompts, whenever people clicks on that, that actually prompts to send a message to that person. Okay? So that's a cool way of sending your contact details or consultation links, okay, so that your students can easily contact you, no, or message you. Okay, so that's again, no, you can like fully develop, no, an entire asynchronous, no, or outside of your classroom activities, no, using presentation. Hindi mo lang to kailangang i-present in class, no, pwede rin natong gamitin even outside of your classes. Okay, so that's hyperlinking. And of course, no, pag i-insert ng media, wag din pa natin kakalimutan, no, that you can easily insert YouTube videos in your presentations. Okay? 2 benefits of using YouTube videos in your presentation, in your Google Slides, no. 1, it does not take storage. Yes, okay, teachers. Di ba? Pag minsan, pag nag-i-insert tayo ng videos sa mga presentations natin, parang hindi na gumagalaw yung presentation kasi sobrang bigat na ng ating mga presentation. Pero when you do that in Google Slides and use Google YouTube videos, that does not take storage. Okay, that doesn't waste down your presentation. It doesn't even slow down your presentation because what basically you're doing is you're hyperlinking the video to your presentation. You're embedding the video in your presentation. Okay. And what's also a very cool feature of inserting a video in your presentation is that when you click this, di ba minsan nag-i-insert tayo ng video kaya lang dahil meron tayong layout, meron tayong design, no, is that ang liit ng video. Pero notice, teachers, no, kapag nag-slideshow tayo, okay? ng video na yan. Kaya kunyari, plinay mo na yung video, no? Okay? Notice that you can actually also use yung tinatawag nating full screen mode ni YouTube sa loob ng presentation mo. So when you click that, that now blows up to your sorry. Ay, hindi pala ngayon available sa ano ko, no? Dahil nasa second screen ako ngayon, teachers. Pero that should be available for for you. Okay? Hindi ko lang ma-demonstrate ngayon. Okay? So that's teachers, no? That's for inserting media. So create, ang dami mong pwedeng gawin at pwedeng gamitin. Okay? Last thing na, I will not discuss it anymore, pero papakita ko lang, teachers. Okay? Pag pumunta kayo dito sa add-ons natin, kay Google Slides, pwede kayong mag-add ng tinatawag na Pair Deck. Okay? Itong Pair Deck, teachers, okay, is an add-on to Google Slides, okay, that allows you to insert questions, okay, and things, no, into your presentation. So pwede niyo pong gawing mas dynamic yung presentation niyo. Pwede kayo mag-insert ng text, choices, pwede kayo magtanong, tapos when the students access your presentation, they will answer in multiple choice questions. Okay? You can also insert number, websites, etc. So pwede niyo lagyan ng more engaging aspect, no, yung presentation nyo. Okay? So that's for Google Slides features. Okay? Next natin for presentation is yung class point, no? Sa mga hindi pa po nakaka-try, teachers, no? Please explore, okay? This is perhaps one of the best tools that you can use, no, for your Microsoft PowerPoint presentations. Okay? So kung kayo po naman ay gumagamit ng Microsoft PowerPoint presentations at yun na yung talagang you're comfortable with, try class point, no? It will not change your PowerPoint presentations, okay? It will enhance your PowerPoint presentation. Unfortunately, hindi ko ma-discuss yung teachers kasi nasa Google Slides ako. Wala rin akong Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, no? Pero we this is a tested, no, and a really well-loved application by our teachers. Okay? So you can easily search, no, in Google, no, class point, okay? And you'll be directed in adding class point to your browsers, and then adding that, no, to your Microsoft PowerPoint presentations. Okay? So really, really important. Ano mga pwede mong gawin dyan? Pwede kang mag-insert ng multiple choice questions. Okay? Pwede kang magpa-annotate ng presentation mo. Pwede kang mag-gather ng mga submit a picture, etc. Ang daming pwedeng gawin, no? Suddenly, your Microsoft PowerPoint presentation becomes like no longer just a presentation. It becomes a game in itself. It becomes like a very engaging presentation in itself. Okay? So that's one, no? Okay? Okay, number 5, teachers, no, na pwedeng gamitin is yung paggamit ng virtual tours. Okay? Yes, okay? Meron tayong, lalo na ngayon sa pandemic, no, at saka sa mahal ng gasolina ngayon, parang ang hirap lumabas, teachers, no? So mag-virtual tours na lang muna tayo para makalabas tayo ng bahay natin at makapag-explore tayo, no, outside. Okay? So this one, you can explore, number 1, yung Google Earth projects natin. Okay? So punta tayo kay Google Earth, teachers. Okay? So you can easily go to earth.google.com. Okay, that brings you to Google Earth. No? Alam ko, minsan ginagamit lang natin to view the surface of the Earth, pero baka lang hindi natin nakikita. Meron kang 2 very interesting features of Google Earth. Okay? The first one is what we call, when you go here, okay, meron kang tinatawag na Voyager. Okay? Sa Voyager, teachers, okay, you can explore preloaded topics or lessons, okay? Or even tours, no? Say, for example, ito yung sa pinaka gustong-gusto kong pinapakita, no? Or in-explore, okay? This one is a lesson on the warming planet, no? Of Earth, no? And dito makikita ng mga students natin, okay? How exactly it happens, or if indeed the planet is warming up. At makita nila over time, from 1990s to 2020, nakita nila that ice are melting. Okay, ice melting. Okay? So they can easily see, no? Oh, totoo nga. Okay? So our planet's warming, and it's not a joke, no? It's not like a hoax or a conspiracy. Okay? So that's one thing. And the other feature of Google Earth that I'd like to explore is yung tinatawag nating projects. Okay? This one. Okay? You can build your own virtual tours in Google Earth. Yes, teachers. No? So kung gusto mong gumawa ng sarili mong virtual tour, dalhin yung mga estudyante mo sa different places of the Earth, pwede mong gawin yan. Okay? So you can go here, top places, okay? Projects, okay? pag-click mo ng project, punta ka lang dun sa new project on top, right here. And you can click down. Pangalanan mo lang yung project mo. Lagyan mo ng pangalan. Okay? So, for example, this project is for tours. Okay? Interesting. Gawin natin interesting places in CDO. Okay, yan. Okay? Para in context tayo. Okay? So, teachers, in the chat, Teacher Isabel as well. Okay? Baka lang po matagal yung response sa, ano, no, sa chat. Can you give me um, um, let's explore 3 places, no? 3 interesting places in CDO. Okay, go. Go, teachers. Okay. Sendan nyo ako sa chat ngayon. Or Teacher Isabel, no? Bigyan mo rin ako ngayon para may ma-search na tayo. Tourist spot, no? Or tourist, a place that someone needs to visit. Definitely, a must visit in CDO. Okay. Yes, waiting lang ng konti. Yun, Seven Seas Park, according to Teacher ano, sa search natin yan, Seven Seas Park. Okay. At ako nasa ano, Cagayan de Oro. Hanapin natin kung nasan yan. Seven Seas Water Park and Resort ba to, teacher, ano? Seven Seas Park in Cagayan de Oro. Okay. Ayan, ito na ba to? Seven Seas Water Park ba to, Teacher Isabel? Baka mali to. Ito lang yung lumabas eh. Okay, baka ito na yun. Okay, we'll see. Yes po, sir, yan. Okay, so nakita natin ngayon dyan, no? Okay, so we can actually bring them here, okay? And what we can do here, teachers, is that we can now, okay? So once we have searched na this place, okay? We can easily now add this place, no, to our project. Say for example, okay, explore muna natin, okay? Punta tayo, kuha tayo ng better view. Let's go to okay. Okay, so now we can see now the view here, okay? So we can now capture this place, no? So for example, this one, although wala pala ako sa entrance, no? You might have to go to the entrance part, okay? Okay, mukhang malapit na tayo sa entrance. Okay, ito na, no? Okay. Let's just say, for example, ito na lang gamitin nating entrance, okay? Or ito yata. Okay, so you can see now, no? Pwedeng-pwede mo nang dalhin yung mga estudyante mo, okay? On a virtual tour, okay? Without leaving the comforts, no, of your homes, especially right now, within the pandemic, okay? Parang ang sarap naman puntahan nito, Teacher Isabel, okay? Ayan, okay, yan. Parang ito, this is a better view, okay? So we can capture that now, okay? And we can add this note to our project. So once you click, for example, the lower button, no, yung capture button sa baba, okay? You can now save this place to your project, okay? You can save, okay? And you can now edit this place. So for example, this is the Seven Seas Park, okay? Ayan, okay? You can also even add, no, what you call this, details, information, etc. Your lessons, kung gusto mo ilagay, pwede ka rin mag-add ng photos and videos dito, okay? You name it. For example, lagay tayo ng YouTube video. Meron ba tayong video from Seven Seas, okay? Park, okay? Hanapin natin. Ay, ano, iba pala to, no? Okay. Or, ano na lang tayo, video, sorry, Seas Park, Cagayan de Oro. So you can insert mga photos, etc. So you can imagine, no, you can insert a whole lot of information, okay? Dun sa place mo, okay? Okay, net mas ma-load, no? Okay? Then lang search tayo ng iba. Okay, this one. Check natin. Okay. So that's one. Meron na tayong isang place na na-capture. Okay? So meron tayong unang place, no? By the way, pwede rin tayong mag-add, for example, no? Kunyari, lesson nyo to. Okay? Pwede kayong mag-add ng full screen slide. Okay? And this full screen slide, pwede tayong maglagay ng photo. For example, this is Cagayan de Oro. Okay? And then we can insert here a photo as well. Okay? Search lang tayo kay... Imagine, ganun siya ka-integrated kasi dahil Google tools din to, no? Naka-integrate siya sa Google search. Okay? Sorry. But integrated. Cagayan de Oro. Okay? You can easily use, no, yung mga tools natin. Okay? So, for example, ano yung best tool natin? Ito na bang natin photo for Cagayan de Oro? Okay? Let's say, for example, pili lang tayo ng magandang photo of Cagayan de Oro. Yan. Okay? So, yun yung magiging title page natin. So if you preview that, no, this will now be what your students will be seeing on the first page of your tour. Okay? So last, isa pa, add pa tayo ng isang place. Okay? From the chat, may nakita ko kanina, dahilayan po. Okay, dahilayan. Okay? So hanapin natin yung dahilayan. Okay? Gawin natin to dito. Search lang natin ulit yon. Tish, ano po yan? Place ba yan? Or is it a beach resort? Dahilayan Adventure Park? If I'm not tama ba to? Teacher, Teacher Kisa? Am I correct? Nasa Cagayan. Ay, iba pala to. Is it correct? Dahilayan Adventure Park? Yes, correct din po, sir. Okay. So yan, no? At of course, no, mas maganda pa rin talaga, full view tayo. So pwede nating i-drag doon. Ang tawag po dun sa dinadrag ko na tao, ang tawag po dyan Pegman. So if you want a street view, just drag the Pegman. Ayan, nasa Dahilayan Adventure Park na tayo. Okay, so you can enter there. Capture natin yan. Capture this view. Okay. Sorry. Hindi lang. Okay, so pwede natin i-add na tong place na to. This is Dahilayan Adventure Park. Kaya, again, no, pwede nating bitbitin yung ating mga estudyante sa iba't ibang lugar. Okay? Ayan. Ngayon, teachers, ready na. Example na natin. Okay? Ang ating simple tour. Okay? So, pag present natin yan, pag shinare mo sa mga estudyante yan, ito yung makita nila. If they navigate, no, they go first to Seven Seas Water Park. Ayan. Okay. Di ba? And then, for example, nag-navigate sila, punta naman sila ng Dahilayan Adventure Park. Okay? And of course, no, pwede mo pang-stretch yan. No? Kung gusto mo, world tour yung gagawin mo, pwede mo rin yung gawin sa Google Earth. Okay? So, ang dami mong pwedeng explore dito, teachers. No? And, pakita ko lang yung isang, pakita ko lang isa pang aspect ng Google Earth. Okay? Aside from that, pwede ka rin mag-add, no? Hindi ko na mapakita ngayon kasi medyo matagal yung process niya. Pero just to give you also an idea, you can also even insert yung tinatawag nating quiz. Okay? So look at this, for example, this tour, okay, that I built, no? Sample tour that I built for a training. Okay? You can insert here a quiz. Okay? Look at that. So, pwede ka na rin mag-insert ng Google Form. Diretso na, no? Tour, learning, etc. And then quiz right away. Okay? Or formative assessment or assessment. Okay? Para yung mga estudyante mo can also already, no? Talagang fully engaged sila dun sa inyong instructional materials. Okay? So, full package, all in one, complete na teachers. Okay? So, that's how we can do that, no? Okay? And of course, teachers, no, aside from that, no, pwede nyo ring explore yung tinatawag nating Google Arts and Culture sa ating pong mga arts and teachers natin naman, sa mga gustong mag-explore ng mga galleries. At of course, no, with the pandemic, and of course, mahal din pag pumunta sa mga galleries. Pwede po tayong pumunta ng arts and culture.google.com. Okay, that now brings you, no, you can explore different galleries. Okay? So say, for example, punta tayo sa isang gallery. Okay? Let's explore some guys. For example, let's go to the Royal Academy of Arts in London. Okay, imagine that we can go to London. No? Okay, so we can explore. Okay, they can walk inside it. Okay, they can virtually see everything inside the gallery. At ang dami po nito, teachers. No? Okay, so they can view that. Okay, so pwede tayong mag-explore. Hindi na tayo ngayon malilimitahan, or we will no longer be limited because we can't go to these places. Okay, we can now be as informed and as within access nitong mga information, mga contact, mga instructional materials ito or mga information na to. At ang dami pa niyang teachers, no, napakadaming galleries po ang nag-open up ng kanilang doors for Google Arts and Culture, so you can actually explore so many art displays, no. I haven't yet explored no gaano nakadami sa Pilipinas yung nagano dito, okay? But you can also explore that. You can easily search naman mga art galleries. Okay? So that's what we call, teachers, Google Arts and Culture, okay? So again, type niyo lang arts and culture google.com should bring you to Google Arts and Culture. Or search nyo lang sa Google search natin, Arts and Culture, okay? Or Google Arts and Culture, okay? Next is capturing lessons through screencasting. This one I will no longer demonstrate or walk through, but just to give you an idea, we have a full walkthrough of screen recording or screencasting. But for you to explore, for example, for you, if you are looking to to develop lessons or video lessons, okay, these are perfect alternatives, no, mga free apps na pwede nyo gamitin to be able to do so. Okay. And of course, doon sa mga gusto ring mag-record ng meetings nila, alam ko po na wala na tayo ng recording option, no, sa Google Workspace accounts natin, sa ating DepEd accounts. Okay? I've noticed na wala na po kayong recording option. Ito rin po yung pwede nyo gawin. Habang nag-meeting po kayo, pwede nyo pong screencast or screen record ang inyong mga meetings, okay? Or classes, no? Okay? For so that your students can review them. Okay? So for desktop-based screencasting, you can try Filmora, QuickTime, VLC. Okay? These are all applications na may capability to record your screen. Okay? You also have yung mga tinatawag nating Chrome extensions. Okay? Para lang po sa mga baka lang hindi pa na-explore. If you want to get extensions, just go to Chrome. Chrome Web Store. Ang tawag po natin dito is Chrome Web Store. That's the name. Okay? Search nyo lang po, Chrome Web Store. And you'll be able to get extensions. Okay? So ito pong tatlong to teachers could all be searched here in Chrome Web Store. Okay? So meron po kayong Loom. Okay? Loom, kapag na-upgrade nyo po yung account nyo to education account, okay, you can get a 45-minute length, no, of recording. Okay, so pwede po kayo mag-record ng 45-minute video lessons. Okay? Movavi is a free one. Okay? Although, caution lang, no, kasi last time may isa akong teacher na nag-complain sa akin kasi when he tried Movavi, it only recorded, no, portion of his audio pero hindi na-record lahat. Okay? And of course, no, kung hindi pa kayo aware, no, meron tayong very wonderful tool na pwedeng gamitin, yung tinatawag nating Edpuzzle, okay? That easily, no, records your screens, no, when you are when you open these extensions. Again, pwede nyo pong i-search dito sa Chrome Web Store. For example, search nyo yung Edpuzzle, lalabas na yung Edpuzzle extension. Okay? And then when you click that, add nyo lang po. Nakalagay sa akin, remove kasi naka-add na po sa akin yan. So click nyo lang po, add to Chrome. Okay? So that's your for Chrome extensions. There are also browser-based screencasting. So yung tinatawag natin screen capture, you can try that, or the flex clip. Although based on experience, no, these are limited tools, no. Meron siyang certain limitations, okay? Certain minutes of recording. Hindi po siya purely free, okay? So ito yung mga tinatawag natin na freemium. Free, pero meron siyang premium aspect, okay? So that's for screencasting, okay? So perfect way, no, or perfect tools for screen recording or creating video lessons, okay? Ako personally, ang pinakagusto ko talagang ginagamit, Loom. Loom talaga yung mas ginagamit ko na screencasting application. Okay? Kasi sa Loom kasi pwedeng habang nagpe-present ka ng screen mo, naka-record din yung camera mo. So nandun ka, naka-inset ka. So your students can still see you while you are presenting. Okay? That's a very good feature of Loom. Okay? Last one, okay? Using in-depth use of video lessons. Kasi tayo po, no, ang dami tayong ginagamit ng mga video lessons, okay? Pero sometimes baka hindi na ma-maximize kasi naggawa tayo ng video lesson pero hindi napanood ng mga estudyante natin or hindi nila na-access ng maayos or hindi nila alam kung saan ma-access. Okay? So there are two things or two tools, no, that might help you organize, make your video lessons more interactive, okay? And easier to access. Okay? And this one would be, the first one is using what they call the YouTube playlist. Okay? Wala pong specialty teachers, no? It's a simple way of creating a playlist in your YouTube channel. Okay, so requirement po, kailangan meron kayong YouTube channel. Okay, and then you can set up YouTube playlist already. What's good about YouTube playlist is that you can actually put videos into it. Okay, a curation of your videos. Okay, and then only share to your students one link. The link to the playlist. Kasi di ba minsan meron tayong 10 videos na gustong ipakita sa mga students, kaya lang you have also to share 10 links and minsan nakakalimutan na nila yan. Okay? So what's good about playlists that when you share the playlist, even if you add new videos, you remove new videos, no, your students will still be able to see what you intend them to see. Okay? And of course, yung last natin is Edpuzzle. Okay? This one is a perfect tool for annotating your videos. Yes, teachers. Okay? Ito yung tool that can help you put questions. Okay? Put multiple choice questions. Put like fill in the blank questions in your videos. Okay? And even it also has what they call the no skip capability. Yan, ito na po yung perfect tool for us teachers, no? Hindi na po basta-basta pwedeng ma-skip ng mga students yung ating videos. Okay? So, for them to be able to complete the video, reach the end, no, they really have to watch the video. Okay? So, talagang, ano siya, no skip feature ng Edpuzzle. Plus, meron siyang analytics. Ibig sabihin, kapag nag-start ka na ng Edpuzzle mo, no, at nag-setup ka ng account, no, you set up a class, okay? When your students get into your videos, okay, if they don't watch it, you'll see it. How much they watch the video, you'll see it. Anong progress nila sa video mo, you'll be able to see it. Did they even open the video? Okay? You'll also see it. Okay? So lahat ng mga tools na 'yan, o mga bagay na 'yan, no, are afforded by you, no, by Edpuzzle. Okay? So so teachers, no, yung mga tools natin I don't know, for creating instructional materials. Of course, ang dami pa niyan, no? And we can't possibly cover all of them. I just gave you like a surface, no, like a dessert appetizer, no, ng ano natin, ng mga digital tools natin na pwede nating gamitin. Okay? So, just some final reminders, okay? And some things, no, to consider when you are developing, no, designing instructional materials using digital tools. Okay, so final reminders na po tayo teachers, no? Okay? The first one is that everything begins with your learning goals. Huwag pong kakalimutan, teachers. Okay? So you might be swamped with so many digital tools. You might be like overwhelmed, no, with so many technologies, no, floating around, no, being developed, being introduced. Okay? But always go back to your learning goals. Okay? First and foremost, that's what we are using the tools for. Okay? Hindi naman tayo gumawa ng learning ng digital tools at saka pa tayo gumawa ng learning goals, no? The learning goals would always come first, no? Okay, so yan ang lagi natin unang-una aanahin. And also, kapag nag-a-assess tayo ng effectivity of a digital tool or instructional material, you go back to your learning goals, okay? Second is education comes first before technology. Thus, EdTech, not TechEd. Okay, very, very simple. Okay, baka lang nami-miss natin yung point why it's called EdTech. Education comes first before technology. Technology will definitely, no, help drive, no, learning process, okay? Improve instruction, pero hindi po 'yan ang base ng lahat, okay? So dapat naka-focus pa rin tayo dun sa aspect ng education, okay? So our technology are tools to drive learning process, okay? That's one thing that we have to always remember. EdTech, not tech ed, okay? And of course, no, design, not just create instructional materials, okay? Why did I entitled our session today, no, as designing, okay, instructional materials? Because I want you to be more conscious on develop or create or designing, no, developing and creating your instruction materials in such a way that it's more cohesive. Okay, when you say cohesive, number one is that when you design, you're thinking about your users. Okay, second, you're thinking about your resources. Okay, third, you're thinking about your learning goals. Okay, and of course, no, the overall impact of these tools, no, or this instructional materials to the learning process. Okay, and of course, when you say design, you always have to also make sure that you do evaluation. Okay, because that's part of the design, no? To know the flaws, okay, to know the strengths, okay, of the instructional materials. Okay, hindi tayo pwedeng ginamit tapos wala na tayong gagawin. Okay, we have to always be more proactive in understanding how the instructional material actually impact education. Okay, because if it did not impact education, then why did you even use that? Or maybe there's something wrong or something to improve on in that particular instructional material. Okay? And of course, take the designs into context. Okay? Teachers, let's not like copy paste, okay? I don't know, strategies, no, frameworks, okay? Especially in other countries, okay? If you, for example, attended like a webinar, okay, and something like this, no, okay? Hindi lahat nag-a-apply in all contexts, okay? So you always have to take things into context. Anong meron ka? sino yung mga kausap mo? Who are your audience? Who are your students? Okay? What can they do? What skills do they have? Okay? What technology do they have access to? Kasi mamaya you're asking them to do something like create a video, kaya lang wala pala silang devices that will allow them to do so. Okay? So bagsak na kagad sila. Okay? So always put things into context. Put things into perspective when you are designing instructional materials using digital tools. Okay? And of course, the last one is that always aim for progress, not perfection. Okay. Of course, we are very competent individuals. No, all educators are. Okay, that's always been the case. No, that we are always striving to be the best or the better versions of ourselves. Okay, pero baka alam na overwhelm tayo na lagi kailangan perfect lahat yung paggamit ng tools, perfect yung impact ng tools. No, okay. The truth is that it's a messy undertaking. Okay. It will not always be perfect. It will not always result no to the way we wanted it to the output no, that we want. Okay, but I think we have to take notice of progress. Okay, improvements. Okay, developments. Okay, growth along the way. No, again, no, yung natawag nga nilang growth mindset. No, habang mas ano mo no, mas you put emphasis on the ano no, the change, no, okay, no matter how small, okay, is in itself no progress na po yun. Okay, so that's some reminders, no, as you further develop your instructional materials using digital tools, teachers. Okay, pero siguro lang, okay, before I ano no, before I open up the floor for open forum or questions, teachers, okay, if we still have time. No, sorry, Miss Isabel, if we medyo nag-overtime tayo. As educators, the more we know about who we teach, no, the more effective we will be with what we teach. Okay, so center to what we do, no, as we develop our instructional materials, okay, are not the instructional materials itself or themselves. Okay, we have to always make sure that our instructional materials, okay, are actually designed for learning and designed for our students. Okay, that will make sure, okay, that our students will be engaged and they will actually benefit from our instructional materials. Okay, in the long run, similar to how games are being designed. Okay, have you ever wondered why our students are so hooked in games? Okay, for 24 hours, 48 hours, because those games are designed for them. Okay, game designers not thought of who will use it. That should also be the same mindset that our teachers should be. When we design our instructional materials, okay, we think of our users so that we ensure effectivity, no, and efficiency of our instructional materials. That actually now ends, na teachers, okay? My discussion, okay? So maraming salamat, okay? I think if with permission from Miss Teacher Isabel, okay, and the organizers, okay, if we still have time for an open forum or questions, okay, from our audience, okay, I'll be more than glad to answer some questions.
So, hello, sir. So, thank you for that very insightful and engaging session. So, at this time, I am opening the floor to hear some questions from our audience so we could have a quick Q&A with Sir Franco. So, you can comment your questions in the comment section below so I could pick a handful to ask our speaker. So while waiting for teachers to comment on their questions, I could start with questions that were sent to me earlier from the teachers who are listening in on our session for this morning. So we have one question. I can show it. So, what do you think could help the teachers who are struggling with the use of technology when they use the different tools that we learn today? So, as you know, there are teachers who are not really that comfortable with change and with using the new tools that, especially those that we've learned today. So, what do you think could help them learn in using those tools?
Okay. Thank you, maraming salamat, Teacher Isabel, no? Okay. So the first thing is that, of course, in using technology, it's all about really using it. Okay, that's the first step, no. Well, it's going to be very frustrating at times, okay, or sometimes, no, um, um, daunting or medyo nakakatakot na, pero we have to approach technology as something that will assist us, okay? And again, always have the mindset na okay lang magkamali, okay, sa paggamit ng mga tools na to. I think that's the first thing that our teachers will have to overcome, no, yung idea na hindi mo kailangan maging expert kagad dun sa tool. Wala naman nag-start ng expert kagad. So we always are beginners no whenever we are using tools. So explore, okay, tools, okay? Second is be selective, okay? Don't get drowned no by the influx of technology or educational technology around you. Okay? Alam ko ang dami na ngayon no, parang ang dami ng mga tools, ang dami mo nang pwedeng tingnan. Okay? Minsan mga nagpo-post sa Facebook yung mga teachers nag-explore ng ganito at minsan napaisip ka, ba't ako hindi pa ako nakaka-explore? Don't go to that point. No? Do not like compare yourselves no, yourself to others no. Always look at what actually you will need. Okay? Because not all teachers need the same kind of tools. Okay? And of course, no, that will always depend on what your subjects are, your learning objectives, and of course your students. Okay, so be selective. Okay, what I actually I recommend for our teachers is develop what they call an edtech playlist. Okay, wherein you will list down no, tools that you'd like to explore that are going to be used no for your classes. Kasi teachers, okay, it's never about the quantity. Okay? Hindi to padamihan, no? Wala pong first honors sa dami ng edtech tools na ginagamit. It's all about quality. Kaya nga lagi ko sinasabi sa mga teachers, paulit-ulitin ako dito sa example ko na to, no, is that kaya kong ipagyabang no, sa mga teachers that I might not know like 100 tools. I may just know one tool, but I can definitely use it for 100 ways. That's a much better edtech use. Okay? 100 tools pero hindi mo nagagamit lahat or hindi mo talaga na-explore. Pero ako, isang tool, 100 ways, that's an effective use of that edtech tool. The third one is to get support. Okay? You don't know how to use it, ask for support. You have your Google search, you have your YouTube tutorials. Okay? You can always contact me, teachers. No? I'll leave my contact details later on. You have your get a support system. Okay? Especially when exploring edtech tools, no, mas marami na rin po tayong matututunan sa iba't ibang tao. No? Plus, if we can, let's collaborate. Okay? If you're exploring tool, you might want to explore it with someone else. Okay? Or, kunyari, dalawa kayo na medyo senior tapos nahirapan kayo pareho, you might want to work with someone that knows the tool or kaya a younger faculty member, okay, willing to help you, okay, and that collaborate in learning the tool. Okay, that's how you can do that, no? Okay, so that's about it, no, Teacher Isabel.
So thank you, sir. No, so ang ganda nung sinabi niyo na it's always about the quality and not the quantity. So as long as we learn even just one tool that we could use in developing learning materials and even using it in our online classes, it's okay as long as we know how to use it in 100 ways. At also yung support, no, you could always ask support from a lot of people, including our speaker for today, Sir Franco, who has taught us a lot of tools and tips that we could use. Now, there's also another question here that was sent to me. So, and in your own experience, how do you decide on what learning materials to use in teaching?
Okay. Thank you, maraming salamat, yeah, Teacher Isabel. No? Okay. So again, as I mentioned, okay, we always start with the with the instructional materials. Okay. Kaya nga isa sa pinaka-popular models no pagdating sa pag-develop ng instructional materials would definitely be the ADDIE model, okay, which translates to analysis, okay, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Okay. So we always look at analysis is all about analyzing your or knowing your learning objectives. Okay, so that's the core. No, that's where you start. Okay, what your content will be, what your learning objectives would be, or learning outcomes that would be. No, that's always the start, regardless of your subject matter, regardless no, of your lessons. Okay, you always start with your learning objectives. Okay, and then follows no, what follows after that would definitely be the design. Okay. So you're now going to design, okay, your instructional materials based on your learning objectives, okay? And then you further develop, no? The development part is where technology comes in. So imagine, can you like, I'd like to emphasize that, no? Yung technology in the ADDIE model comes in the development part. That's the third step, okay? Not even the second, not even the first, okay? It's a third step, no? Kaya sabi ko is that it's not the technology that will drive your instructional materials. It will definitely improve it and enhance it, but it will not be the basis of your instructional materials. Okay, and then after that, you go on the implementation, and then after that, evaluation. And what's good about this that the evaluation should also be a tool that you can use for the next analysis. So when you develop another instructional materials, okay, or you further develop that instructional materials, you go back to analysis, you use the evaluation or data from the evaluation. That's why it's called, it's really a cycle, no? Okay, this ADDIE model. Okay, so Again, instructional materials, learning objectives pa rin, first and foremost, kahit saan pa yan, kahit anong lugar, or kahit anong tool pa ang gagamitin niyo. Okay?
So thank you again, sir. So very important to anchor our learning materials to our objectives. And lastly, siguro last question na sir, no, dahil I know that you have a next engagement pa po. How do you deal with the sudden shift in education from face-to-face to distance learning? What tips can you give to the teachers, especially po ngayon na may shift na naman na pwedeng mangyari? And also in the future, if, wag naman po sana, pero other unseeable or unexpected changes ang mangyari.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, Teacher Isabel. No, okay. When we do shift, no, it's the first whenever there's a shift, okay, the first thing is we always have to understand first, okay, what the shift is all about, okay, what exactly is happening in that shift, okay. So say for example, when the pandemic happened, okay, the shift is all about transitioning to online classes, okay, and the shift demanded, okay, that we learn about delivering the lessons in the online classes. Okay, so by understanding that, no, it gives you a better position, okay, in equipping yourselves, no, with skills, okay, with knowledge, okay, in navigating in an online class setup. Okay, so understand it. So when we shift back again, no, to face-to-face setup, no, that's also what you're supposed to understand again. And when I say understand, Sir Franco, we understand what face-to-face because that's what we have prior to the pandemic. No, but teachers know we have to understand that the face-to-face setup that you're going to have in the next few years, no, is no longer the same face-to-face setup that we're going to have, okay, that we had before. Okay, this definitely will include, no, traces of pandemic school year or pandemic online approaches, no, okay. Kaya nga lumalabas yung mga concepts ng hybrid setup, high flex setup, okay, kasi papasok talaga tayo dun, no, sa idea na ano, no, we have to carry on with the technology and approaches of the pandemic, no, that we have learned in the pandemic come into face-to-face. Kaya nga, for example, kahit sa school namin, we are surefire, no, na hindi na kami babalik ng face-to-face for entire week. Okay, magkakaroon kami ng like permutations or combinations of work from home and face-to-face encounters. Okay, and what tips can you give to teachers? No, in general, okay, of course, no, there are so many things that we can do, pero katulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, like curriculum, like our instructional materials, dapat ang mga teachers natin ngayon, disruption resilient na rin tayo. Okay? Tanggapin na natin that shifts are going to happen every time. Madaming mangyayari, madaming magbabago, and as teachers, no, we have to have that kind of adaptability and flexibility, no, to accommodate, no, and to accommodate those shifts that's happening. Kasi hindi natin pwedeng expect na, yung shift na yan, baka in the next 100 years na ulit yan. So, hindi ko na maabutan yan. No. Teachers, shifts are going to happen constantly from here on. And we have to be that disruption resilient educator of 21st century.
So thank you again, sir, for answering the questions and also for the wonderful and very engaging session. And truly, we live in a digital world, kaya it is very important that we adapt to the changes happening and that we learn how to use the different tools that were discussed to us. So, and Sir Franco is showing us his contact details for those who would want to contact him and for those questions that you may have even after this session. Okay. Okay. So listening to your session din, sir, nakarelate din ako because when I first created a Google site, hindi rin po talaga ako familiar with coding or programming or HTML. But using Google Sites, it was really very user friendly and very easy to use. And a lot of what you have shared today, ngayon ko lang din po nalaman. And nakita ko talaga kung gaano sila ka-convenient and how it makes the lives of our teachers easier. And I know for sure that our teachers and everyone watching will be very excited to use those tools. And I hope that it will be able to help them in creating their contextualized learning materials, in facilitating their online classes, and even when we go back to face-to-face classes eventually. So ayun, if wala na po tayong questions kay Sir Franco, um, thank you so much again, Sir Franco, for gracing us with your presence. and for sharing your time and knowledge with us this morning. So let us give him a round of applause again and press the heart and like button for those who are still watching. And now let me present the certificate of recognition. Yan. So this certificate is presented to Franco Nicolo P. Adun for sharing his time and expertise as resource speaker on the topic Utilization of Tools in Developing Materials during the KaaGABAY Learning Series on Materials Development, given this 18th day of March 2022 at Cagayan de Oro City Division, Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. So thank you so much again, Sir Franco. I am sure our teachers and everyone tuning in right now were able to learn a lot from you. So thank you so much again po for the time and for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you, Teacher Isabel. And again, congratulations. No? Pangalawang sessions pa lang to, teachers, pero napaganda ng program that was prepared no, by Teacher Isabel and her team. No? So again, congratulations in advance. And teachers, no, please continue doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Kaya always laban lang kahit marami tayong mga pagsubok or mga challenges along the way. Okay? So,
I think you were muted, sir.
hope to visit you again no, in CDO, teachers. Okay? So
Yes,
again,
sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes po.
Hopefully po next time, face to face na.
Yes. Sana po
Yes, thank
soon,
you,
soon. Yan.
sir. Yes, sir. I hope you have a wonderful day, sir, and keep safe always. So ayan no. So Sir Franco has walked us through a lot of different tools such as Smart Canvas and Smart Ships in Google Docs that can make accessing the docs more convenient, setting up our own learning hub through Google Sites, creating a flipped classroom through Google Forms, using interactive presentations through Google Slides and ClassPoint, engaging learners in virtual tours using Google Earth and Google Arts and Culture, lalo na hindi pa tayo pwede mag-field trips because of the pandemic, capturing our lessons through screen recording, and organizing our video lessons. So marami tayong bagong tools na tutunan today na pwede natin gamitin in creating and developing our learning materials and also when we facilitate our online classes. So I would also just like to highlight what Sir Franco has said a while ago that progress is important and not perfection. So as long as we do steps to improve ourselves, that's all that matters for us to keep growing as teachers. No matter how small the progress, it is still progress. So a few reminders as we come to the end of our activity. Let me share my screen again. So a few reminders. So please don't forget to answer the attendance/evaluation form through the link shown on the screen. So this link will also be commented on the comment section down below. And lastly, join us next Friday, March 25, 2022 for another session which will be at 10 a.m. again. Our topic for next week will be the different ways on creating and enhancing learning materials with another speaker whom we will surely learn a lot. So this now concludes our session for this morning. We will be seeing you again for another session of KaaGABAY next week. Thank you to everyone who helped in making the session possible at daghang salamat sa tanan sa pag-uban sa atin karong adlaw. So again, for those who weren't able to tune in with us in real time, rest assured that you can view this later again in our Facebook page. So thank you to everyone for watching and wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. Happy Friday to everyone. Thank you.